Hey guys, welcome back to the offside rule. I know, something doesn't look right. Something is missing. Yes, it's Yan. She is running late, I'm afraid, because, a girl's gotta work, she gotta pay the bills, but, she will be here. She'll be joining us just a little bit later. But you, of course, have me, Lambs, taking over temporarily. And of course, we are joined once again by the lovely Charles. And is it a debut on the first 11, Jess?
I feel like have I been on here before? No?
Have
I think I've been on here one time.
Okay.
Let's just call it your debut with Lambs hosting. See? There we go.
Okay.
Debut with Lambs hosting.
Yeah, the re-debut. Jess is back, people. Our favourite ever Arsenal fan. Yay. That's literally the only thing. If we could change one thing about Jess, is that she supports Arsenal. But apart from that, she's bloody perfect. So, guys, before we get into the show, how's everyone been? Charles, let's start with you. How's the week gone?
I mean, I'm just going to show you my week. This is just about to sum up my week this week. Oh God, no, there you go.
Oh wow.
That's called having a dog that's teething, that's growing, and literally does not know what to do with himself. He's literally either sleeping or actually he's trying to find metal to chew on. It's that bad. Like, the dog's chewing my damn bike pedals. My bike pedals. I have a gym bike in the conservatory. Can I use it right now? No, because there's no pedals. I mean,
oh my God. This is literally, if you have anything that you really value, like, lock it up in a cupboard for like a few weeks until this period is over.
Literally, I'm hiding everything. I every time, even if I go to the if I leave the room literally for 5 seconds, I have to take my laptop out or hide it somewhere he can't reach it all the time. I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. But yeah, so he's become like a little bit aggressive because if I because he's chewing things he's not supposed to. So I'm like, don't do that. And I go and point at it. He's like, you're not telling me off. And he just like nudges me out the way, or like he'll ram into me.
He's getting rebellious.
Literally. I just can't wait for it to grow up.
In football terms, how's your week been?
In football terms. Oh, a bloody fabulous week. Absolutely fabulous. I am on cloud 9. Do you know what? I turned up onto a stream. Whose stream was it that I turned up? Oh yeah, I turned up onto a stream and I was like so happy, and they were like, "Show, we've never seen you this happy before." And I'm like, "Welcome to Chelsea winning." No, I'm good now. I'm done. I'm done happy. I'm good. It's gonna be happy stream.
Jess, how are you? Welcome back. How's your week been? We're not going to get into your day because we'll get into that shortly. But the rest of the week, apart from today, how's that gone?
I mean, in Jessica land, it's been great. In Arsenal land, it's been crap. So I'm usually I've already done like my little reaction to everything. So I'm pretty chill right now. But the week has been good. Like, I really can't complain. It's just, the team is just crap. It's just bad.
Yeah. We'll get into that, I'm sorry, but right now it sounds like we would rather be in Jessica land, because Jessica land sounds so much more stressful than Arsenal land, which we will get into. But this is the European Weekly Roundup show, guys. So we are going to talk about the Europa League games, but we are, of course, going to talk about the Champions League games. So, let's give Jess a little bit of a break, let her collect her thoughts, process what's happened tonight. Before we get into that, but let's start off on something we can all surely together laugh about as rival fans.
Please be what I think.
Talking about Real Madrid. Yeah, no, hold on a second. Liverpool arriving at Real Madrid training ground and getting absolutely torn apart. I know Charles like absolutely bursting, so let's start with Jess. Jess, did you watch the game? What did you think?
Yeah. I think that this just goes to show that, like, some players may be older, but that doesn't mean that their class is not still there. And I think the assumption that Liverpool was just going to annihilate Madrid doesn't really make sense when they both had weaknesses in the back. But the class level, the technical level, the ability level of Real Madrid is higher than Liverpool. It just is. When you have Cruz and Modric and Casemiro in your midfield, you can dominate a game, and I think that that's where the game was won and lost. Liverpool lost the midfield, and you had a couple of mistakes and bobbles in the back. Just the ability for Cruz to kick the ball halfway down the field, drop it on top of Kabak and Phillips or whatever his name was, and Vinicius just running in just shows you that there are weaknesses there, but the midfield quality is just so much better, regardless how old they are. I don't know where this misconception came from that Real Madrid is just this dead team. They have really good players, and if they decide to turn up, they can hurt you. So I think it was nice to see Liverpool be humbled a little bit. I think they're out of this tie at this point. I think it's over for them at this point. But it just goes to show that just because players are older and they may not have the legs, it's not always about, in the Premier League, it's all about legs and running and aggressive pressing and things like that. But when you get into Europe, it's about class and levels. So the level was definitely higher for Real Madrid, and it showed. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and it is a long way back. Most people would say that Liverpool, never doubt Anfield, but it's not being played at Anfield. And guess what? There's no fans. And we all know Liverpool nothing without their fans. Charles, I know you're bursting. Go on. Go on, Gav.
Yeah, I do love bantering Liverpool. It's something that everybody enjoys. Every fan enjoys bantering Liverpool. I'm sorry. Liverpool winning a trophy this season? No. Liverpool making Champions League football? No. Let's just have a conversation right now. I have never been more excited. You know what? Vinicius heard everybody slag him off, being like, he's basic. We were all worried about Benzema. Poor Vinicius turns up like, hi, how are ya? I'm Vinicius. Nice to meet you back of the goal. Something like, I was just like, and you know what the problem is? Like, I enjoyed every minute of that. Liverpool's dead. Liverpool is actually just dead right now. Do you know what? Everyone's like, oh, Liverpool can bring it back in the next leg. No, because you can get 2 goals, but can you stop Real Madrid from scoring? No. It is impossible when you are playing like Liverpool do. And Trent Alexander-Arnold is finally being seen for what he is, a massive, massive fraud. An overrated fraud. And I've said this for so long, and Lambs knows this. I've said this for so long that I don't care. Trent Alexander-Arnold is dead. Like, genuinely, like, I saw a meme, and I'm gonna repeat this because I love this meme. There was a meme of Trent Alexander-Arnold on his phone, and then it showed his phone, and it was Gareth Southgate on Snapchat, and Trent had messaged Gareth going, "Am I still in for the Euros this year?" And underneath it said, "Friend request still pending." I was like, because that's it. Like, Trent Alexander-Arnold ain't making the Euros. That's how bad he is. Like, I'm glad people are seeing this. Like, their whole team, like, I thought when they got a goal, like, it was 2-1. I was like, okay, they have a chance. I was like, Then Real Madrid come at them like, yeah, hi, I'm going to get another goal. Do you know what? It's ever since Alisson's had his moustache, all gone to shit. Actually gone to shit. This moustache is unlucky.
What was that?
It just looks like a slug on his face. It genuinely looks like a slug on his face. I'm like, this is not a good look for you. Like, it's really not. And, Liverpool weren't actually playing well defensively. The ball was just getting past them. Like, Alexander-Arnold basically handed them the second goal. Like, I was just looking at their defense, and I was like, the amount of mistakes they're making, like, defensively, there was no defense. Like, I just, this was their only chance of actually getting Champions League or a trophy this season. As far as I'm concerned, I'm calling Man City champions from now on. Liverpool don't deserve it. I have to be honest here. Like, Liverpool don't deserve it. And as far as I'm concerned, another 7-2 performance from Aston Villa this weekend. Thank you very much. Thanks, Aston Villa. Hi, Liverpool. I'm done.
Hope. Let us hope. Oh man, I mean, there's people already just coming for Jess and just give her a chance, guys. We're still on the Champions League. We'll get there.
Guys, give her a minute. Like, we need to. Do you know what? She needs to process this. It's a mentality. Like, let her just enjoy Liverpool losing. Let her enjoy. No, I take that back. Liverpool being annihilated. They were broken open. They literally, after the first goal, they were broken. And you know what? Like, Klopp isn't switching it up. He's not changing what he knows. This is why people are breaking him apart. He's not changing it. He's not switching it up. He literally is doing nothing different. If you were at least trying to switch it up, I'd get that. But he's not. He's not switching it up. It's the same performance every time. And it's the same, it's the same performance every time. They need to switch it up, because the longer this goes on, the longer they're going to be in this little bit of a streak for, because if you can't switch up and if your players aren't capable of switching it up, then you have a second problem. Your first problem is with the fact that your manager's not switching up a formation or switching up a style of play. Your second problem is if your players can't actually deal with that switch of formation or the switch of play, then you have a second problem. Yeah, my issue with Liverpool is that every fan can enjoy them losing. Every fan from Sheffield United to Man City, apart from Liverpool, obviously, then that we're all coming together over the fact that Real Madrid, and you know what? It's even going to be great because Eden Hazard's coming back next week, which means if Chelsea go through, when Chelsea go through, you know that we're going to be facing Eden Hazard, and I've never been happier. Let's go, Eden Hazard.
Scared, to be honest, after that performance.
I'm not. Do you know what?
Well, before we move on, I think it's safe to say, Jess, any way back for Liverpool? Charlotte, anyway, do you agree?
No, I think they're finished. I just don't see it. Yeah, no. I think that tie is over.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd be shocked.
But I think the problem is that Liverpool are capable of getting 2 goals. The problem you have is, can you stop Benzema? Can you stop Vinicius? No, because they broke your defense open so easily. It wasn't even they was making changes in the first half. They didn't even wait till half time. They was making changes quickly. And I just, that you can get 2 goals and it can be 3-2, but it can be 3-3. But you can't stop Real Madrid scoring if you have a back line like that, your midfield being poor, and your strikers missing a lot of shots.
I mean, fair play. I mean, any Liverpool fans in the chat, Velv, I don't know about you. I don't even support Liverpool, but I really felt that from Charles. But yes, moving on. Doesn't look like there's any way back for them. Personally, I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. Just to sum up really quickly, I think it was poor not starting Thiago, dropping him for Keita when we know he's been so injury prone. It's a similar issue that we have with Pulisic. This is not really a game to start him in. You kind of
the chocolate teapot
into it. But yeah, they just that very, very, very stubborn high line that Jurgen Klopp really likes to play. They just keep on getting caught out, and he's just so stubborn. He refuses to change that. Yeah, I don't really see a way back in for them. So that's done and dusted. Moving on to a tie that possibly still hangs in the balance. I'm talking about Borussia Dortmund and Manchester City. Now, on the night, wait for it, Sharp, just wait for it. Hold it in. Now, on the night, Manchester City were the better team. They dominated. Phil Foden, once again, absolutely the star of the show. He shone. A brilliant, brilliant player, rising star. But Dortmund still had chances. And there is an argument that they should have had a goal that stood. There is an argument for Haaland having to. There's a chance that he probably should have scored when he dashed Diaz to the ground and Edison made the save. But he was very instrumental in setting up that goal. Brilliant hold-up play for Marco Reus to finish. But 2-1 on the night, vital away goal for Dortmund. Will City bottle it once again? Quarter-final block. Jess, I'm gonna come to you first. Can Dortmund do this? They're still in this, or will City prevail in the end?
I mean, yeah, I think that Dortmund still have a chance because I don't even think they played as good as they possibly can. I think Haaland was not as dangerous as he could have been, and again, the referee helped Manchester City. I mean, and if they have any sort of mind games playing, in the back of their mind about, their ability to get far in this competition, they may psych themselves out. Pep gets really creative and starts over tinkering the team when he's not confident in their ability to get through. So if they go and over tinker, add players in that they shouldn't, add tactics that they shouldn't, I think they'd be giving Dortmund a leg up. I don't think Dortmund should go through. I don't think that they're near City in any way, but I think just giving them that one away goal gave them a foothold in it. And again, the mind games of, are we good enough to win the Champions League this time with this really good team? If that sneaks in, I could see them slipping up and maybe going out to an inferior Dortmund team, so we'll see what happens. But I think this one is still in the balance for sure.
Yeah, Charles, on to you. Dortmund, do they still have a chance? Is the tie done?
Let me tell you something now. Edison deserves an Oscar, a BAFTA, a Grammy, a SAG award, every fucking award you can imagine. Because let me tell you now, that goal should have stood. That referee was blind. I'm sorry. Edison touched him. Edison touched him. And it wasn't even really a big touch. He took the ball because Edison was being a shit goalkeeper at that moment in time. He was being shit. He had the ball kidnapped off him because he was being slow. And then he's like, oh, I've been hit. No, Jude Bellingham was the absolute star performer of that match. He actually was. He is 17 years old and he stood out against a Man City team. Man City looked irrelevant to me. For him, he was the star performer. I'm sorry, that goal should have stood and it should have been 2-2. I don't know how much money Man City paid the referee, but there's going to be receipts somewhere. Let me tell you now. Also, let me tell you.
Hold on a second. I'm going to cut in because there's been a lot of talk about this, about people accusing Manchester City being Barchester City. But everybody seems to be forgetting that they don't actually have that much luck with VAR in Champions League competitions.
I'm not talking about VAR. I'm talking about paying the referee.
But I don't. The thing is, the referee actually had a chance to intervene to give him a penalty, and it got overturned by VAR. So you could actually argue that VAR intervened to deny City the chance because VAR.
Yeah, good. I'm glad they did. But let me tell you, that referee had his beer goggles on. He had them beer goggles that make you see funny when that Edison moment happened. Because let me tell you now, that was a goal. And any Man City fan telling me that Edison didn't dive or Edison was in the right is wrong. It's actually wrong. Because when you look at it, and I kept rewatching it in slow, and I watched it in replay, I was like, the more I watched it, the more I was like, Edison touched him. Jude Bellingham should have fell because that would have given them a penalty. And then what? But he didn't. because he was a real player. Good, cool story. Are you actually telling me, Doob? Are you actually telling me that it wasn't? It shouldn't have been a goal. That Edison didn't dive? Because if you did, you need to go to Specsavers, hon. I'm not playing that game anymore. Let me tell you now, Dortmund are going to be.
Was here. She would not take this.
Let me tell you now, Dortmund. I'm rooting for Dortmund now. My heart is with Dortmund. Dortmund. I am praying you absolutely come back, because let me tell you, if I was Jude Bellingham, I'd be fuming. If I was the whole Dortmund team, I'd be fuming with that situation, because Edison was the one that messed up and that goal should have stood. Edison touched Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham didn't go down because it was a minor touch and he's not a little wimp. And he picked himself up and he got that goal. Now, if he'd have dived, we'd be having a different conversation, because everyone would have been like, oh, but it was his fault. But Edison's not getting all this, and no one's admitting that Edison was in the wrong, because he is. Like, I'm not playing this. And also, I think Dortmund are going to win. I think it's going to be 3-2 to Dortmund, and I'm very happy. Thank you very much. Bye.
Wow. Oh, my God.
I'm ready for City to leave now.
When Jan watches this back, Charlotte, expect a DM. Expect a DM, because
I'm ready for this conversation, you know.
The thing is, yeah, I know Jan was really upset because I saw her on the live stream on Sarcasm City for that stream, and she was really like pissed off with the fact that people always say that our City pay off the refs, because I think she's got a point. I think City actually don't have that much luck when it comes to Champions League. If they did have that kind of luck, they probably would have won it already. Let's be real. So
I think all they really did was they embellished, and the ref fell for it, because Rodri was holding his head when Emre Can didn't even get anywhere near him. So I think the issue is more that they dive and flop and do all that kind of stuff and embellish.
Yeah, I think that's more. I feel like that's more my point, and I take that back about VAR. But what I don't take back is the fact that Edison dived.
He did.
Edison dived. I'm sorry. That performance deserves an Oscar, a SAG, a BAFTA, a Grammy, and like a Nickelodeon award, a Kids' Choice Award. The list can go on. Like
not
a
British
British
Choice
Academy Award. Yeah, this is how good it was. And then he deserves to be slimed at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award.
Kids' Choice Award killed.
Let me tell you now. Like, he genuinely he really did the dirty on Jude Bellingham. And you know what the problem is that if this was the other way around, and this was actually someone like Kevin De Bruyne or Aguero, they'd have dived. They'd have dived and got a penalty. But look at a 17-year-old kid who didn't dive and went around. Should have been a goal. Sorry, but
it's probably his mistake. Maybe he should have just to the ground.
Yeah, but sorry,
isn't it?
No, but he's playing the foot. He saw an opportunity for a goal, and he knew that he'd done nothing wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, City, your goalkeeper messed up. Maybe you should tell Edis, you should tell him that when a footballer is running towards you, you kick the ball away from them. You don't try and dribble with it.
Lovely. Well, City, again, always the subject of controversy. I think it's just because, secretly we love to hate them because we're all just jealous. We wish we could be like them. Competing on all four fronts and just dominating the league, left, right, and centre. But moving on. We will get to our game before we move on to the Europa League games. But I want to talk about a really entertaining Champions League clash against the big guns, the big dogs, the Don Dadders. I am talking about PSG versus Bayern Munich, and what a game that turned out to be. Now, I know Indiana's, he's still saying Poch is a fraud. He still believes Poch is a fraud.
I'm about to disagree with him. Indiana's about to kick me off this channel.
Yes. A Neymar and Mbappe masterclass to be proud of. Wow. Goal goals galore, but Bayern's still in the tie, and Bayern's still dangerous, still a dangerous side, and still the current Champions League holders.
Yep.
This is far from over. Jess,
Yeah.
are we in for another heavyweight clash next week?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I've been in particular, I've been telling Charlotte this, I think, the entire time that, you know, I get that they're weaker. Defense is not as strong. So we expect them to get scored on now. They're just not as defensively sound as they were before. But that championship, like champions mentality is always going to come back. And the way that Kimmich and Mueller looked when they came off of the field was like they probably ripped them a new one in that dressing room. Hansi Flick probably didn't have to say anything to them. Now, they're still very much so in the game. If people go back and look at the actual statistics, analytics of that game, they had many chances that they just missed. Lewandowski's in that game. It's probably they probably win it, you know, but they need to be more clinical in my opinion. So obviously, if you have Neymar and Mbappe in your team, you're always going to be a danger on the counterattack. And if you fall asleep at the back, you know, they're going to punish you because they're just that clinical. But I expect Bayern Munich to come back with some sort of fire. It's just unfortunate because Lewandowski won't be back, so you can't count on that like superstar to come back, but I still think they're well within this tie. But I will say that I think that after watching them play against PSG and looking at how good PSG is, even with key players missing for them, if they get some of their key players back, like Verratti and Marquinhos is fit and all that kind of stuff, I actually think PSG will go through. I just think Bayern Munich's going to give them a hard time, and it's still in the balance. But now that I've seen them play, I think PSG will go through, and I think they're really, really in a good position to get to the final now because they just have something like if Bayern Munich can pelt you the way that they did and they still come out on top, what does that really say about this team? They don't even need possession to kill you. They don't need the ball. That's really, really dangerous. So now that I've seen it, I do agree with Charlotte that I think PSG is probably the stronger team. But I disagree with the fact that Bayern Munich is just like this dead team and they're going to fight it out. They're going to fight it out. So it's going to be close. I wouldn't even be surprised if it went into extra time, you know, and I'm kind of hoping so, you know, so we can get a really good game.
Yeah. Oh, we'd love to see it. Show.
Yeah, like I said, I told you also, PSG, like, I'm sorry, they made a sub at, like, was it the 33rd minute? Goretzka was subbed off for Alphonso Davies. I mean...
Can I say that was Hansi Flick's biggest mistake was not starting Alphonso Davies in the very beginning because who starts no quick backs, like no quick center backs, full backs against Mbappe? That was a really big mistake. But go ahead, Charlotte.
To be honest,
legs. Sorry.
To be honest, that was a Neymar masterclass yesterday. Absolute Neymar masterclass, and everyone can say Mbappe was the masterclass, but Neymar was. If you look at it, Neymar created. He was running all over the place. Neymar, fabulous. Mbappe's goals. The piece de résistance. Oui, fabulous. C'est magnifique. Do you know what? Like, I've said this from the start, and everyone was really controversial, but PSG wants it more. This is a replay of the Champions League final. Who's the current champions? Bayern Munich. Who wants it more? PSG. Who didn't get champions last year? PSG. PSG, for me, look like they want it more. And as far as I'm concerned, I can see PSG making it to the final. I said it. I could see that Tuchel beating PSG. Like, you see it, it's written in the stars. But you know,
Tuchel's best former team.
I'm not bigging us up or anything, and I'm not saying it's everything. But you know, for me, I think the problem is that, like, whether you've got Lewandowski or not, you still have Bayern Munich still have a good team. It's not like they have a dead team. They still had a good team. A team capable of competing with PSG. Did they so much? I mean, for me, like I've said, Bayern's defence is sloppy. It's not the greatest. Their front three, their midfield, their front three is there's nothing. I can't fault that, but when you've got a sloppy defence, it works its way forward. Like, you have to start with a solid back and work your way forward. Now, if you have a dodgy back defence, which they do, that's where you struggle. And, they were sloppy at the back, hence why PSG were kind of breaking them down. Like, Bayern did have chances, but unfortunately, they were just poor chances that were missed, which
done out here.
which is, it just wasn't good. For me, PSG, everyone's like, oh, but they played well. But for me, PSG played better. Right now, who's got 3 goals? PSG. PSG played better for me because they were able to capitalise on that 3rd goal to take them into a lead. When I say they played better, I'm not saying that Bayern didn't play rubbish. I'm saying that PSG were the better team on being able to capitalise on that goal to go through next week. And let's be realistic here. If we're going to be talking, and we have to be realistic here, Bayern Munich have to get 3 goals. Bayern Munich have to get 3 goals next week because PSG have 3 away goals. 3 away goals, which counts as 6 goals.
They don't have to get 3 goals next week because the aggregate score is 3-2.
No, sorry, yeah, they have to get. I mean, they do kind of have to get 3 goals. If PSG are scoring another couple, they have to get
goals, I think, to go through. That's it.
Well, no, because the 2 goals they've got are only normal goals. They're home goals. They're not away goals.
But if they get 2 goals, 2-0,
that's through. 6. That's 6.
I think it's 2.
No. It won't be.
They would have scored 2 away goals.
But PSG have got 3 away goals. So PSG will go through.
No, but if Bayern Munich win on the night 2-0, so PSG don't score, they will go because they have the highest score in aggregate. So if they score 2 goals and stop PSG from scoring, they go.
No, that's not true because if you look at it, so Bayern Munich have 2 goals right now. If they get 2 more away goals, that's 6 goals. But
it's basic maths. 3-2 in the next game. If PSG score 2 more. Sorry,
I did that. All right, my maths. Okay, my maths. Okay. But it's not.
In that.
Sorry, just leave me alone. It's been a long ass day. Like, I'm telling you now. But let's be realistic. PSG are not scoring. Let's be realistic. PSG are not. Look, okay, my maths was shit. You can all pat it down now. I'm from Essex. Leave me alone. I think that's enough said. I'm from Essex, okay? Anyway, I don't see PSG not scoring. That's my problem. You could, yeah, Poch is going to be a fraud in the final if Tuchel beats him. Oh yeah, I went there. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be interesting the next leg. It's one of the ones that I'm actually really looking forward to. There's only 2 that I think are going to be really close next week, and that's City and Dortmund and PSG and Bayern. And they're the ones I'm looking forward to because I can tell who I want to win or who I could see winning, but whether it does or not is a different story.
Who is it?
So obviously Dortmund are going to win and PSG. I believe PSG want it. I'm not saying as loads more, but they have that kind of there. Yeah, because if you look at it, Bayern Munich are already champions. PSG haven't got that. There's that craving to get it, and basically Poch's job's on the line. So if he doesn't get Champions League, he's a little bit screwed. So, I mean, he don't really have a choice.
Well, personally, I would like to see it go to penalties because that is a good game. And, everybody wants Champions League. City still ain't got it. They want it. But it doesn't work like that. I guess in the end, we're just going to have to see. I think Bayern Munich 100% still in the game. Can never, ever, ever underestimate them. And we know what the champions, this is why we live for Champions League nights, because we know anything can happen. So moving on to the final Champions League game, and of course, Chelsea versus Porto, Money Mace and Ben Chilwell with Chilly B. Obviously, Jorginho being given man of the match, I think that is absolute blasphemy. By the way, that was I don't know who made that decision, but they need to be fired straight away because apart from the one basic standard pass that he should be making anyway, consistently throughout the game that he gave to Mason Mount. The rest of that was all down to Mason Mount. So I'm not even really going to give him credit for that assist as the stat padders would, because the rest of the game he was terrible, and that midfield was non-existent. In the end, I'm happy that we got 2-0 away and those 2 away goals, but by far we were definitely not the better team. Porto did outplay us, and the way they have to say the beautiful football that they were playing, my goodness, I was just sitting there thinking this needs to be us. But Jess, I know we got the win, but are there still problems facing us?
Can I be honest? Your guys' game is the only one I didn't watch.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you know that makes me feel good? That makes me feel good because then you can't criticize us.
I'm not gonna criticize. I think, well, obviously, if you guys see, I mean, I'm a huge Mason Mount fan. So when I saw that he had scored, I was like, obvious, he's gonna score. You guys should go through. I mean, Porto is an inferior team to you guys, and you guys should go through. I think the only thing that I can see from a consistent basis from you guys, even not watching you guys against Porto, is just figuring out the offensive part and getting that free-flowing football from the front going. But I think that'll happen in time, and the solidity that you guys have in the back. As Charlotte said, if you have a crap, defense, it creeps up to the front, whereas you guys have a strong defense, and now you can build from that. So I think the solidity is really what's good for you guys. And as long as you have good players like Mason Mount, you guys will be fine. So, not shocked that you guys went through. Congratulations. And yeah, good luck.
The job is half done. It's only half done. Yeah, we saw us capitulate over the weekend, so we know it's still in us. But I feel better knowing that Kante will start in the second leg, so we will not have that debacle in midfield. I know you got a lot to say, so I'm just gonna sit back, relax. How about it?
I mean, you know what? Like the first 30 minutes were dead. I was struggling to get past this. I love that. Almost made it. Almost. The chocolate teapot also didn't melt when you put boiling water in it. Almost.
Should have scored. That was a great shot that came off the crossbar.
You know what? I said this. I said it was a great shot, but it was just a great shot. Wasn't a goal. Nothing came from it.
I was just shocked and surprised to hear that he was fit enough to make that team, to be honest, after him coming up over the weekend. But go ahead.
Okay, so the first 30 minutes were absolutely diabolical. Slow, sloppy. Passing was sloppy. We were just giving them all the ball away. I was like, do we even know what colours we're supposed to be wearing? Like, I know we're in the shittest colours, but like, dude, you know that you're not supposed to be passing to the other team. Yeah, Mason Mount for me was man of the match. Chile B a close second. I'm going to start with Mason Mount's goal. That ballet pivots, the one-touch ball into the back of the net. I was like, yeah! I know. I was like, yes, Mace, you go. And then Chile B comes in, kidnaps the ball off the Porto player, takes it away with him, round the goalie. Nice little in the goal. I was like, yes. No, I think Porto did outplay us in the first half, in the first 30 minutes. They played good football and we weren't.
They outplayed us in the second half too, until Silva and Kante come on, because
I agree. I disagree there. I disagree.
They were running us ragged.
I disagree. The first 30 minutes of the first half, we were dead. Then Mason got the goal in like the 32nd minute and we were like, yep, picked ourselves back up again. Then at halftime, I felt it took like about 10, 15 minutes to get back into the game again. Actually, maybe 10 minutes. I'll be generous. 10 minutes. And then, yeah, it kind of got back into the game again.
But it only changed, Charles, once we started making substitutions.
Yeah. Do you know what the problem is? Is that Jorginho was, like, yes, he got an assist. And everyone's like, oh, he got an assist. Congratulations. What do you want me to give you a chocolate coin?
They gave him man of the match, Charles. They gave him man of the match.
And no.
Not chocolate bar. They gave him the man of the match.
Give him a 99, actually not even a 99p. Give him like a 10. Frodo's a 25p. I'm not even paying 25p for a Frodo for him. Let me tell you now. No, they're 30p now. I'm not paying 30p either. Sorry. He can have like one of those 1p Haribo sweets that you get in a tub. That's all he's getting. But let me tell you now, he did not deserve to be man of the match. How the hell he even got it? That one assist. Mason Mount was absolutely doing our best.
He did everything else.
Literally, he was doing the passing. He was doing the creativity. He was doing He was doing Jorginho's job for him. He was fabulous. And the fact that we didn't... Do you know what? When Mason Mount was taking that goal, did you see? Because I brought this up on my watch-along. So Mason Mount pivots and takes a shot. And Werner's just stood there like you should have been running there, making sure that if that ball hadn't gone in, you could have tapped it in. But he was literally like a foot from the goal. I was like, composure, happy place. You're shit. Now, as for Pulisic, Pulisic had a great shot. I'm not saying it's not a great shot, but it's just a shot. Did it lead to a goal? No. I'm sorry. Chocolate teapot's all I gotta say.
You guys don't love Captain America, do you?
Agent USA. He's not Captain America. He's Agent USA. And also, he has more injuries. He has more injuries than he has birthdays.
Yeah,
than he's had birthdays.
Lewis said it. Do you know what, Jess? I really do love him because, we've seen his potential to play. What he could be, is fantastic. The potential this guy has is world class. The problem is he just doesn't stay fit consistently enough. And his consistent injuries at his young age is a worry because at the end of the day, there's so many players that you saw that had the potential to be world class and their careers have ended because there was that one game that injury was just too much. It just took too much off of them. To come back to being the same. And
I feel that
towards the back end of last season for us. And going off in the FA Cup final against Arsenal, we haven't seen since the season started that player come back yet. Even in the few glimpses, we haven't seen that potential reached from when he went off with that injury. And that's what's worrying, is it that the injuries are collecting so much to the point where we're literally walking on eggshells, or he's scared to run at players, to cut in, to do what he does because he's so injury prone. I mean, we saw it over in the West Brom game. I think there was one point where I think when he come onto the pitch, the guy just literally bodied him to the ground, and he just literally I felt that for him, and I was just like, and I instantly reacted because I was just like, oh no, you can't do that to Pulisic, you might break him. Do you know what I mean? Wow. I wouldn't ever be thinking about that about any other player, but it's just because he's so, and it's so frustrating because I'm literally I think most Chelsea fans are fighting with themselves is it time to move him on? But when he hits the ground running, if we lose a planet like that, my God, we are idiots. So it's literally it's these if, buts, and maybes. Is it time to cut our losses now?
You guys will be fine, even if you guys get rid of him.
But I mean, I'd rather get rid of him and him succeed elsewhere than him continue to be injury prone here. Because I've always said, no matter how much I dislike the injuries, that he's not a bad player. I've said we've seen moments, but I mean, Ads, you can wait till the end of the season and then have a conversation with me. You seem to forget there's 8 games left. So once you've had a conversation, after those 8 games, come have a conversation with me. But we still have
to play West Ham, Ads. It's in our hands, okay?
Just to clarify,
don't worry.
We still got to play City, Arsenal, West Ham, Villa. Come have a conversation with me, at the end of the season. Cool, get your edit ready. I'm cool for that. But
West Ham conceded 3 goals to us. They went 3-0 ahead and they conceded 3 goals.
Literally. Do you know what the problem I have is with Pulisic is that if he's going to succeed somewhere else, cool story. That's cool with me. But I just, I'm struggling with the injury thing because I don't know if, because like you said, that tackle on Pulisic, I saw that tackle on Pulisic and I went, shit, he's down, it's game over. And everyone was like, no, it's not. I was like, but this is how concerned we are. Literally, all it takes is for someone to be like, eh, and I'm like, oh my god, is he going to be okay? Like, hun, you okay? Like, you're going to get up? Like, I just, it's kind of a little bit stressful for me because like he didn't, like the last time he was injured was the West Brom game, and he didn't even make it to the fifth cone. He only got to one cone, didn't get to five, got to one. Like I just, it was a little bit stressful. But do you know what? I feel like I'm more annoyed the fact that Jorginho got man of the match and Mason Mount was robbed. This is what I'm more annoyed
Foolish
about.
behaviour.
I was so happy with the game, but Mason Mount got robbed of man of the match by Fraudinho. Yeah, that's it. Fraudinho. Like, you know,
Money Mace did a whole Cruyff turn.
yeah, I'm
And
not
they
gonna lie,
gave-
money.
And they gave man of the match to Jorginho, who literally emptied out our midfield for 75% of that game.
Facts.
I life, guys. Anyway, moving on to happier news for us. Maybe not so Jess. So let's do Man United first. Let's do
do Arsenal first.
Okay,
do
let's do
Arsenal first.
Arsenal. Okay, all right.
Get it over with.
Are you ready? Okay.
Let's do Man
I'm ready.
United. Let's do Man
Arsenal first.
United.
No. Because we don't really give a crap about them. And yeah, they won, but they played crap as usual.
I have things to say, and I usually
Yes.
don't say that much.
The floor is yours.
So, okay. So I try to be as balanced and relaxed as I possibly can because this team, you know, I lost my shit last time. Like last season when we lost to Olympiacos and got kicked out of the Europa League, that's when my entire expectation of this team and Arteta had changed because I was like, this is just not good enough. So I need to temper my expectations. But what I realized in today's game is that after I did very little research on just a little bit on Slavia Prague, because I don't know anything about them. They're the Czech champions, whatever. So I'm like, okay, let me do some research, watch the game that they played against Leicester when they knocked them out. They knocked out Rangers. And what I learned about them is just very simple, that they employ a very simple mid block, and there's tons of space in behind their fullbacks to drop the ball in behind them. So I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, this is just a very simple formula of making sure that you kick it long in behind their fullbacks and have runners ready to go. And the lineup comes out and I see Lacazette, which I can justify that by saying, like, you need somebody to drop in deep, blah, 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 find the ball, kick it to Saka. But I see Willian and I just think to myself, why? Like, how are you going to get in behind if you're going to play Willian? That doesn't make sense. Then I watch us start playing and I'm thinking, oh, they've been overcoached and the tactics are too detailed and over the top for this particular group of players to do. I think at this point, Arteta has really shot himself in the foot and he has to realize that he's not at City. You're at Arsenal. Like, the level of players is completely different. So you need to use the players that you have as good as possible and play to their strengths. When you're doing something for the first time and you're not quite sure about it, so you're really nervous and you start second guessing yourself on every little thing that you're doing. That's why we couldn't do the basics. We couldn't do simple things because they were overthinking everything because they were trying to keep those tactics, in their head, and they can't do it. Why can't we just smack it down the field and drop it on top of their fullbacks and run in behind and smack it in the back of the net? Why can't we do that? We have very fast players, Saka, Aubameyang, Pepe. Any of them could have played Martinelli. You choose Willian, and I see Willian and Cedric, Lacazette and Saka, and basically all of our players doing these really intricate, stupid 5-yard balls to each other when you could just kick it over the defense. We're not drawing them out. What are we drawing them out for? They're not in a low block. They're in a mid block. Kick it over their defense and run. Just be direct. Like, it's just not that hard. Then we get to 45 minutes. The half is dead. We look like crap. And there's no subs. Hansi Flick and Poch, Klopp, all these managers just yesterday, the day before, were subbing early. 30 minutes in, shit's not working, you sub. Why are we seeing our first sub at 70 minutes? Why is Martinelli coming in at the end of the game? Like, he hasn't played a lot of minutes, so you'd think you'd want to get him in early so he can get the rest off and then start playing. It's not even shocking that Pepe scored. I said the change was Pepe for Willian, because Willian really shouldn't even played. Pepe comes out there and scores a goal, but we capitulate. But you capitulate when you can't concentrate because you're being asked to do shit that you can't do. So now we're in a position where we're probably going to get kicked out of the Europa League next week. We're going to be in 10th place. And we've gotten nowhere in this project because this man doesn't understand that you're not at Manchester City. You don't have Cancelo. You don't have De Bruyne. You don't have these players. And our players are good, but you're not getting the most out of them because you are so hell-bent on playing a way that they can't play. And he's so stubborn. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, we're stuck in this marriage, because he's not going anywhere. That's the reality, is they're not going to sack him if he doesn't get to the Europa League final and we're in 10th place. But we're going to have so much less wiggle room in the summer to overturn the squad. And now I can see that the squad is probably going to turn on him. It was already creeping in after the Liverpool game. It was strange. It was like, okay, well, now the players aren't playing for the manager and all this kind of shit. I can really see them losing to Sheffield, losing to Fulham, because our last 8 games are winnable games. We play you guys, but like 7 of those games are pretty winnable. I could see us losing all of them things because he's just not getting it. We need confidence. You know what? You know how you get confidence? By winning games. Doesn't matter how you win them, just win them. So stop trying to play this stupid way and just get them running down the field and kicking the ball in the back of the net. It's just not that difficult. Why do you think, people talk crap about Ole, but what Ole did is he just decided, you know what? I'm not smart enough to get this team to play in a way that's difficult. The tactics need to be simple. They play very simple route one football. They kick it over the top, run over, and just kick it in the back of the net. It may not be, deep or nice to look at, but it's fucking effective. So why can't Arteta just get it through his head? Be like Ole. I hate to say it, but be like Ole. Don't overthink it. These players are not smart enough. They're not smart enough. Put them in a system where they can just be themselves, feel comfortable, do the basics, kick it over the top and into the channels, and let him smack it in the back of the net. Why are you complicating it so much?
I want to ask you as well, Jess, because you mentioned Gabriel Martinelli. Do you feel like he's a player that's been quite underused in this current Arsenal squad, given their recent form and the way they're playing? Certain players being out, why isn't he getting a run in? Do you think that they're disrespecting him?
I don't know if it's a matter of being disrespectful to Martinelli. I just think that Arteta prefers players that he thinks are safe and can play in the system better. He doesn't like players that he can that are too unpredictable. Meaning, like, he doesn't like Pepe and Martinelli because they play on instinct, and they're the type of players that you just need to say, go ahead and do what you do. Whereas he'd rather have players that are overcoached and maybe can only perform at a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 every week, but he knows that, rather than Pepe, who one day can play at a 10, maybe next day drop a 2. You don't really know, but their heights are so much better than like Willian. So I think Martinelli, he's so raw that Arteta doesn't trust him, so he doesn't play him. And I just think he needs to say, let me get my best possible 11 out here. It may not be the one that I want to play with. They may not be able to play the system. Get your best 11 out there and tell them to freaking play. It's really not that deep, but he put Martinelli and Pepe out there in Aubameyang. They scored right away. They put a lot of pressure on Slavia Prague, and it was just really obvious that you needed energy, speed, and players that can run in behind, and you wasted 70 minutes doing crap because you're just so stubborn. And it's really difficult to justify, or back Arteta at this point, because I get what he's trying to do, but you just don't have the pieces. You don't have them.
And quickly, one last question before we move on to Charlotte. Let me bring it up. Here we go. This comment from Indiana. How big of a miss is Kieran Tierney going to be for this Arsenal squad?
Well, I mean, he's created the most chances in our squad this entire season, so it's a huge miss. I mean, when you take out your biggest chance creator, it's a big problem, especially when you decided not to get true left back cover. We don't have another left back, with a left foot playing with Cedric, and he was dead the entire game. So yeah, it's a big miss. And when he went down against Liverpool, that was basically the time where I said, you know what, I think this is over. It's done. So we move on to Sheffield in the weekend.
Is the tie? Are you guys still in the tie? Because realistically, statistically, definitely you are still in the tie. But mentality-wise, what needs to change between now and next week to get you through?
If Arteta can come to the reality that he needs to just play his best 11 and let them play the way that they play best, it could happen. But I think because we don't have any confidence, and when you don't have confidence, you just second guess everything that you do. I mean, even if we beat Sheffield, I don't think we'll have enough confidence to go through against a team that really feels like they have a chance. We put Slavia Prague in a position where they feel like they could beat us. So I hate to say this, and I don't want to be negative. I just want to be realistic. I see us going out next week. I really, really do. I don't think we have enough. I think Arteta's confused this team to the point where they don't even know what they're doing anymore. So yeah, I think we go out. We're still in it, but I believe we go out next week.
Charles, do you agree, disagree? Some great points you made there, Jess, by the way.
Yeah, Jess made some great. She basically covered everything. I think the goal you let in was sloppy and poor. I expect that from Arsenal. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a dick, but like that was especially in the 90th plus is it third or second minute? Like it's just sloppy. Like it really is. Like unfortunately, this is the one time I needed Slavia Prague to lose. Like the racist team needs to go down. Sorry, not sorry. For me, Arsenal need to bounce back. Yeah, I agree with about your left back problem. Like that's an issue. Like if you only have one, like that's not good enough. Stop it. But
we have so many, and literally like only one or two of them are good enough.
I know, but the problem is that we just it was just really sloppy for me. The Arsenal game really bored me. I don't mean it in a horrible way. It really did bore me, to be honest. It wasn't an exciting game. It wasn't a game that I was like, oh yeah, this is like really good. I'm enjoying this.
I mean, Slavia Prague they didn't even really do much, but just capitalize on another sloppy
but that's what I mean.
That's
like if you guys hadn't made the mistake, like.
But we always make the mistake, and that's the thing. When you have Saka go in on goal and miss a wide open chance, you have Lacazette go on in goal, miss a wide open chance. We just didn't have confidence, and I blame that on Arteta because I couldn't put my finger on it. But now I know that it's because they're being overcoached, and when you're overthinking, your brain gets tired, and then you start to make mistakes. When you're confident, you just kick it in the back of the net. They weren't confident.
But I think the problem also is that if you're blaming Arteta, you have to play the players as well, because the players that were playing today. Look, should we talk about Aubameyang? Lacazette turned into Morata. Lacazette turned into Morata today.
I want to know what you both thought, because forget about the forward players. There's somebody who was supposed to do a really important job in that midfield for Arsenal today. And for me, I think he just did not turn up. And that's
You're talking about Thomas Partey?
I'm talking about Thomas Partey.
The man's got a song. That you gave the man a song, and what has he done? I'll wait for you to tell me.
So here's the thing I'm a huge Thomas Partey fan, and I still think he's the right signing. I think the issue is that he doesn't have confidence. And every single time that if you go into every single game and change what they're supposed to be doing, Simeone pretty much, I mean, he changed the system slightly, but they played the same way every single game. We play different every single game. So it's hard to gain confidence when you're not sure about what you're doing. He was crap today. And I have a very hard time criticizing him because I think he's such a great player. He played well against West Ham when we finally got back into the game, played well against Spurs. He's not a bad player. He's still good. But if you're asking players to do shit that they don't normally do, you don't explain it well, or you try to change everything that they've been doing from game to game, some players just can't get a grip, so he was very, very poor. Aubameyang wasn't poor when he came on. He probably should have started the game because, again, we needed runners in behind. But we're just off the pace. The confidence is dead. The team is imploding. And I get what Charlotte's saying about blaming the players. We've been blaming them all season. But now I'm looking at Arteta like, just play to their effing strengths so that they can feel confident about what they're doing. It's not that difficult. We literally scored a goal because we just kicked it into space and ran them behind. And you had them playing little intricate passes for no freaking reason against a team that's inferior to us in quality. So why are we making it more difficult than it needs to be? I don't really understand that.
No, I get that. That makes sense to me. It's just I have to kind of, yes, Arteta's management isn't great. Yes, his tactics aren't the best, but he's still giving them something to work with. Yes, it's not great, but are the Arsenal players actually any one of them giving you guys justice? And the answer is there's only one, and that's Saka.
Not necessarily. I think
no, but I'm talking.
Young players.
Tierney and Saka. No, Tierney and Saka are the only ones.
Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli. The youngsters are carrying them. The youngsters.
Then there's four. As far as I'm concerned, Smith Rowe doesn't cut it. I don't think. For me, you've got Odegaard.
You cut us apart, mate. You cut us apart.
Yeah, no, that's cool, but we'll just hold that for a second. Just let me have that. I don't like to think that's why he's not on the list. He is not on the list for that reason,
And you've
just given me PTSD. I'm now like I'm gonna be rocking myself to sleep.
Okay. Besides the Emil Smith Rowe thing, I can take if you don't rate him, you don't rate him. But ultimately,
it's only a Chelsea bias. It's just a Chelsea bias. But they are. But you've got Aubameyang, who's been your top goal scorer. You've got Lacazette, who everyone used to know.
We don't play to Aubameyang's strengths. Okay, so let's just go back to the summer. If you give him, hold on, let me just land really quick, and because I hear what you're saying, I'm taking it on. I get that the players are not doing all that they can, and they're shitting on us. I get that. When you give somebody $300,000 a week and you give them the big contract and you make them the man, you play them to their strengths. You play them down the center. Don't play him out wide. The last two games that we've played, he's played Aubameyang off wide and almost expected him to play like a left wing back and build up and all that kind of stuff. I just think just make it more simple so the players can execute. Just play Aubameyang through the middle and just play technical players in behind him. And just try to freaking score a goal. It's not.
Do you know what? I get that, but my problem is that Aubameyang. But Aubameyang is a very clever player. He's a great player. If he's that great, he wouldn't be struggling. I'm sorry. I'm not having this discussion and debate. If you're that great, you will be able to adapt to another position that's not far off your position. And if you can't do that, well, you're not as great as people thought. Maybe you shouldn't be on a 300k contract a week. I'm sorry. I'm going to be realistic here. The man has been doing wonders for you with all the goals. Hold on, 2 seconds. Sorry. Anyway, as I was saying, that if he can't adapt, what's the point in paying him the big bucks? If he's the man you rely on, what's the point in paying him the big bucks if he can't adapt? I'm sorry, I get it takes time. I get it's not the easiest to adapt to. I see that. But what I'm saying is
center forward.
I know he doesn't look. He's not even giving 10% to me
because he's not being played. He's not being played to his strengths. Like
no, I'm not.
I watch him every single week. He's being asked to track back, almost play like a left winger. I just think that you just have to play him as center forward and make it simple. He can't adapt. He's 31 years old. You don't go from playing center forward and being only asked to tap in the ball and be at the end of moves. And then at 31 years old, you get told that now you need to start being a part of build-up, being able to play people in, be a playmaker. I just don't think at 31 years old, one, you're able to adapt in that way. And two, you probably don't freaking want to. That's all I'm saying. And I just think he needs to play to their strengths, but I also take on the fact that they're just not playing. They're not playing for the fans. They're not playing for us. They're shitting on us, but they've been doing that. I think it's all of it. It's just all of it. We're just crap, but I definitely take that on.
Quick question for you here, Jess.
No, I don't think so. It's not just up to Martinelli. I think people forget that a transfer takes multiple people. Who has the money to buy Martinelli from us? Does the club allow him to leave? And does he actually want to leave? So even if Martinelli wants to leave, that doesn't necessarily mean that he will. A lot of different moving parts. But, I think Arteta will leave before the club allow Martinelli to leave. Because, Edu is very close to the Brazilian national team coach. He was his right-hand man for a couple of years. So Edu is not going to let Martinelli be a pawn in this, or, not become the next Brazilian striker because of Arteta. They will fire him before Martinelli leaves. I think Martinelli will outlast Arteta for sure.
I agree. Hold on. I actually can't deal with my dog. He's decided to rip all his bedding from his cage. Like, hon, what's wrong with you? But I get Jess's point completely. Like, I see that. But you kind of, you can blame Arteta 80%, but there's that 20% that, even though you're not having the right tactics, the midfield aren't being played out of place. Your defense aren't being played out of place. You're right.
It's not about being outside of your position. It's what you're being asked to do.
No.
In that position.
I understand that, but you can hate that all you want. But you had a good run with Arteta not only a few months ago. It started in December, and you had a couple of months of good run. So for me, I can't. The problem I'm struggling with is that you are capable of performing. Like, this is my problem. You've got light switch players. They are capable of doing it. You've seen it. You've seen it. I'm not saying it was the greatest of all time, but they turned up. They're not turning up now. So I have to question, is it more than just Arteta? Is there something behind the scenes that no one knows about?
It is more than just Arteta. Up to this point, I was mostly blaming the players. That's the thing, is I wasn't even blaming Arteta until now, because the light switch really turned on, that I'm like, okay, well, when we played you guys and when we beat you guys, it was because we played the kids in behind Lacazette, and we had 4 or 5 games of consistently playing that exact same lineup. Then Arteta decided it was important to get Aubameyang back into the side. So then we put Aubameyang in, lost a couple of points because of that. Then we got used to playing Aubameyang through the center. Then he changed it again. Then he played Lacazette and Aubameyang together. Then we lost our form, lost our chemistry. That's what I'm saying. Every single time we get a little bit of bounce, we get a little bit of chemistry, he rips it apart and asks them to do something else. And coming towards the end of the season and being so close to the end of the Europa League, I mean, I know we still have to go further on, but being in this place to be tinkering around with shit and making them do things that they just don't look comfortable doing looks stupid to me. He could have easily played Pepe today and did something that we've done before that was successful. I've never seen us win a game. Actually, yeah, I have, but it was one time with Willian and Lacazette, and that was against a very, very poor Leicester side. So
True.
Whew, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you. I think you go for it. It's a gamble next week. Like you said, you play your best team, your best players, the best informed players, the players who deserve to play. If they're fit, you put them in. No question, no doubt about it. And it was frustrating, I think, because in parts watching that game, you had so many opportunities to score, and like you said, it was these dumb short passes. When there's an opportunity to take a shot, you turn around and make another short 5-yard pass, another 3-yard pass, 2-yard, before somebody makes a cross, then there's nobody in. It's just like, what's the point? It's wasted.
Exactly.
Anyway, before we sign off, after what's been a lovely, interesting, informative, and slightly passionate roundup, of the Champions League and Europa League games. We'll go on to United. I'll start off really quickly because I don't really like these guys and I don't really have much to say about them. Yeah, they won. They got the 2-0 win that I thought they always were going to get. It's yeah, Bruno sounds angry. Is it because I'm about to talk about Bruno? Because I'm about to talk about Bruno.
Yeah, he's like, I just want everyone to know I was not named after him. I was named after Frank Bruno. I was not named after Bruno Fernandez. He's that angry. He's taken the toy and he's gone now. He's like, yeah,
Sorry.
nah, I'm done.
Sorry,
He's
Bruno.
gone.
Talking of a different Bruno Fernandez back at it again. Marcus Rashford again with a goal, good goal. Nice to see him back on the score sheet. But again, the same old goddamn issues with United. But the only difference is between them and everybody else is that they're still managing to scrape wins. But the performances, again, not to par. But just they probably are going to go through, aren't they?
Yeah, they should go through. I mean, Granada, I think, is one of the lowest ranked teams in the rest of the competition. They should go through. And what I've always said about Man United, and it's kind of what we touched on a little bit earlier when talking about Arteta, is that Ole got out of his own way and just decided to let those players play the way that they can play. He kept it simple for them. They have a decent defense and they have good offensive players individually, and they have enough quality usually to nick it. So that's pretty much all it is. It's not complicated. It's get your best players out there and let them figure it out. And that's usually what happens. And what they sometimes, even when they're not playing that well, they just put more offensive players out there and just overwhelm you. So I expect them to go through, and I'm really not shocked that they pulled through, even though they didn't play well. They never really did. They ever really play well? Like, do we ever really like watching them play? It's not really about that. They get the points on the board.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're doing what many of us are failing to do at the moment. Charles, United, they are halfway there to doing the job of making it a potentially all-English Europa League final. They're doing their job. Arsenal, slightly not so much at the moment. But in terms of United, does it look like a clear path to the final from here?
I mean, for me, they got the goal. Marcus Rashford's goal was great, as per usual. Like, I can't fault it. However, it did go a bit dead. It did go a bit dead. The game went dead until the penalty, which I'll discuss the penalty in a minute. But it went a bit dead. Like, there was nothing really spectacular. Like, it really wasn't. And so, I mean, if you get a better team, all it takes is for them to go a little bit dead and it's game over. Who do they have next if they go through?
Either Ajax or Roma.
Yeah.
So they'll get Roma because Roma are 2-1 up and Roma were the better team in the match. But I mean, Roma's. I think this is where United will be tested against Roma or Ajax, teams that actually, you know what I mean, teams that actually contest them. Just like, because they've not.
Chris Smalling.
Like, they haven't been tested yet. I'm a man like Pedro. Love a good test.
Love it.
But, they haven't actually been really tested. Like, you know what I mean? That's not me being horrible, but these teams that aren't on the level of Premier League, not being horrible, but you've got Ajax and Roma who are kind of on that level. So it's going to be nice to see how that comes as a shock to them. I mean, the penalty, Bruno Fernandes steps up again. It was actually a really poor penalty. I'm not complaining about the penalty given. I'm complaining about Bruno Fernandes' penalty nearly didn't become a goal. Like, it was just a little slip from the goalie. Like, it was really such a poor goal. Like, I expect better from Bruno. This is Bruno's, I say first goal in 6 games, which says something. He's the best midfielder in the world, but hasn't had a goal for 6 games and hasn't stepped up for you in big games. So, we're going to have this conversation.
It is really Pogba that's, I think, carried, like, just this team. Like,
what? It's a struggle to watch.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's in the one with the shoulder injury, carrying this
Can,
dead
can we
team on his
can we also
shoulders.
talk about Cavani as well? Now, for me, Cavani hasn't been worth anything. Like he's not.
Well, he was
I
too.
just he just for me he hasn't lived up to what I expected. I've watched Cavani at PSG, and it's just not what I expected. I mean their level is at Europa League at the minute. I don't. I mean they've been in like I don't know if they do get through. Can they turn up against if you play in a team like Roma or Ajax when you get through, which I think they will? Can they step up? That's my question because like if you look at it in the top six, they've only beaten Man City. Like I'm not being a dick here, but
I mean, to
they've
be
only
fair, I personally think they are better like than Roma and Ajax and either way. But the only thing
But
is,
you say that they could just have a dead
let me
moment.
land. The only thing I'm gonna say is Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and their typical semi-final block as well. So Pep has it in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Ole's had it since he's arrived at Manchester United. Somehow they can't even seem to progress past this semi-final. So EK, I think they're going to get past Granada very, very easily. I think it'll probably be something like 4-0 on aggregate, probably go back and score another 2 goals. But once it gets to the semi-final, either Ajax or Roma, because these are both serious teams, they with Champions League experience as well. Like they're not one of these teams we haven't heard of, right? They're actually known teams as well. Once they get to this point, I really do think that Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they're just gonna do some nonsense. They're gonna end up bottling it. Literally, I think there you go. Jem said it. Manchester bottlers, facts. And I really have a feeling something like this is gonna happen. When people really force this idea of this, there's gonna be this all English final. Somehow it never ends up being that way. Like both those English teams end up going out the next round for some strange reason. I don't even know, but we move and they will get through, unfortunately. But before we sign out, guys, in the chat, please smash the like button. Thank you all for joining us this lovely Thursday evening and Thursday afternoon for Jess, but still Thursday. So before we sign out, please, guys, tell everybody where they can find you, your YouTube, social media, everything. And guys, make sure you go and follow these lovely ladies. Jess, so you.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at It's Jessinho, and I also have my own show on YouTube called She Knows Arsenal. If you just type that in the search bar, I will pop up, and that's where you can find me.
She will indeed, and make sure you go check out Jess's post-match preview as well. I saw a little bit of that. I'll go back and watch the full video, but yeah, I can tell you what. Not happy at all. Charles, the lovely, lovely, beautiful Charles, tell the people. Charles, who still needs to work on her math skills a little bit, tell the beautiful people where they can find you.
You can find me at Charles_Strong on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Strong TV, where I do a show with the lovely Lambs, the Wine and Football Show. Tonight, we're doing an NXT TakeOver watch-along, so tune in, guys. We're doing WrestleMania watch-alongs this weekend as well. Oh, sorry. Sorry, there we go. That better. Okay. And we've got the Wine and Football Show with Lambs. I'm on GNA, the Women's Show, and Kendall Show on the Terrace on Friday as well.
You're so cute.
You're so cute. Bless him. And me, you can find me on Instagram. It's at Lami Ahmed, my handle. I don't have Twitter, guys. That's the only thing I have. You can find me here on the Offside Rule. Jan will be back next week. So will Charles, the Chelsea Ladies Show as well on GNA TV. The Football and Wine Show with Charles, the Midnight Vibe Show on the Terrace. Goodness, and just here, there, and everywhere. I'm sure there's some other shows that I've forgotten to mention. I do a politics show on Sarcasm City. Check that out. The show Bits and Bobs. Yeah, it's just too much, guys. Just go into YouTube. My face will be there somewhere. Okay. Okay. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us again. It's been an interesting week. We do move on to the
Premier League
this weekend.
Oh, yeah, and maybe we're going to get a 7-2 rematch, Aston Villa, Liverpool.
Speak into existence, guys. Speak into existence.
Come on, Aston Villa. Come on, Aston Villa. Come on, Aston Villa.
Shaw never stops. Sorry, Liverpool fans.
Nuh-uh.